Mistral has just announced a new AI model, which is its larger 2 model. And this is kind of its response to Meta and OpenAI's latest models that they've put out. Meta, of course, has made big headlines. I've covered them on a podcast before with their brand new model, which is open source, and it's kind of a competitor to OpenAI and Anthropic and everything else. It's really interesting. We're starting to see these huge open source models, and Mistral, of course, this is what Mistral is all about. But Mistral also has a little bit of, controversy about whether they're going to be open source forever, or they're going to close source things in the future, kind of how they're going, because they've started and launched, got a lot of goodwill by being an open source model. There's a lot to unpack here. So today on the podcast, I'm going to be diving into all of that. Mistral is a major player in France, or, based out of Paris, essentially, which is where I am for the next couple months. So for me, it's exciting to kind of cover that as well. But before I get into the podcast, I want to tell you about the sponsor of today's episode, which is, of course, my own AI startup, AI Box, which is a no-code AI app builder marketplace. If you're not on the wait list yet for AI Box, I would love for you to join. We're about to launch, and it's going to be an incredible place where you can access tons of really interesting custom-built AI tools. You can build your own custom-made AI tools and post them on a marketplace. If you do that, you get a royalty anytime someone uses them. It's going to be a place where you can have kind of one account and access a bunch of different AI models without having to have different accounts for Claude and ChatGPT and 11 Labs and like all these other things. Instead of paying $20 a month for everything, have one account that you can access everything on and pay just one subscription fee and just use whatever you need. So this is what I have seen a huge need for in the industry. I would love for you to join the waitlist. It's aibox.ai, and there's also a link in the description where you can jump on that as well. So what is going on with Mistral? Let's talk about the launch of the new Mistral Large 2. So this is essentially their new flagship LLM, Mistral Large 2, and it's going to be competing with Meta and OpenAI. What exactly are its capabilities? So the new model has a 32,000 token context window. It's essentially designed for really high performance text-based applications. So they're not obviously going to be doing video or image or audio yet, which a lot of other people are starting to work on. OpenAI, of course, has some great things there, some things that are still in beta or not released yet. But they're really just focusing on the text right now. So as far as the things I'm most excited about, one of those is kind of the customization that they're allowing now, and also the API. So Mistral Large 2 is going to be able to be accessed through an API that allows developers to create custom moderation policies and connect the model to external applications. It's also going to support the output of JSON, which of course makes it way easier to use its output for things within a business software and stuff, right? If it can spit out JSON, this is something that code can read and understand really well. So this makes it a lot easier to integrate with software. So not just the fact that developers can use an API to access it, but also that it can spit out JSON makes this really exciting for developers. So new models. Besides just Mistral Large 2, they also introduced Mistral Small. This is more a cost-effective and lower latency model. It still outperforms their previous flagship model in a bunch of different reasoning tasks, which is kind of exciting, right? It's like, hey, we got a new model. It's smaller and faster. It's kind of our budget model, but it's still better than our last model. And then of course, this new one is way better. So to me, that seems really exciting. And I think this is right in line with what OpenAI is doing, right? They just released their new kind of mini GPT-4o model, GPT-4o mini, which is faster and smaller and cheaper. And this is a huge thing, right? And when I say cheaper, really you could think about it as it's more it's less compute intensive, uses a lot less compute to get things done, so therefore it just becomes cheaper. But this is what I'm really excited about, because as these things become cheaper, there's already a whole bunch of huge possibilities unlocked within my own startup, AI Box. As soon as GPT-4o mini came out, essentially things that were we can't really afford to pay to have an AI automatically label this or that or do this or that. Now all of that is going to be super easy, because we're just going to use these kind of lightweight models to do some simple tasks. So yeah, it's very exciting. So something else that I think is really big that they're doing here is that they have been doing some partnerships. One of them, of course, is with Microsoft. They essentially partnered with them to make their model available on the Azure platform. They did a multi-year deal but it also gives Mistral access to Azure's supercomputing infrastructure. They can use this for training and inference. So you see this as kind of a win-win. Microsoft gets to, kind of be a leader in AI by having this Mistral on their platform. Mistral gets the distribution, and then Mistral is also kind of doing a partnership where they can use some of the resources, aka pay Microsoft one way or another for the compute. So these are interesting deals that are getting worked out. There is a new service which is called LeChat. So Mistral is launching a new ChatGPT-like service called LeChat, which it's going to give access to Mistral Large, Mistral Small, and a prototype model, which they're calling Mistral Next, which is just designed for really quick, concise outputs. So just if you want like a really quick, snappy response, I don't want this thing to write me like a few paragraphs, like I'm asking it a question, I just want a quick response. And I actually think this is cool because this is an innovation that no other AI model is doing right now. Oftentimes I ask ChatGPT or other AI models something, and I'm like, I just want like a 1-sentence response, please. Do not give me anything crazy. And so I think this is actually a really cool new innovation, which is Mistral Next. I'm like wondering if it's too much effort to switch between normal Mistral and Mistral Next. Let's say they had an app on your phone, or someone essentially integrated this into an app on your phone, or if you would just kind of like someone that built software would use, just say, look, plug in Mistral Next. Or for example, like if someone's using AI Box to create like a tool, they'd say just, hey, use Mistral Next for this one output. And then you don't even have to put in the prompt, like give a short, concise response. It just like, you guarantee it's always going to do that. So I think this is pretty cool. And yeah, it's going to use a lot less compute, shorter inputs and outputs. So yeah, it's way cheaper. So all of that I think is exciting. What are their expansion plans? How is Mistral going to expand from here? Because it definitely, like, while it's a big player in the space, it's way far behind ChatGPT and a lot of others as far as revenue and users and all that kind of stuff. I think this big partnership they're doing with Microsoft includes some plans to kind of look at the development of some customized versions of their model, which are going to be optimized for specific use cases. They're going to be using Azure's platform to do that and kind of leveraging it. This is also what we're seeing out of like OpenAI with, of course, their like GPT search thing that they're working on and kind of looking at custom use cases. So I think this is interesting. When it comes to what people are actually saying about this on SiliconANGLE, they said Mistral Large is rolling out alongside a second new LLM dubbed Mistral Small. The later model has less advanced reasoning capabilities, but offers lower pricing and latency. So essentially what I've been saying, it's not just about, it has less reasoning. It's like, yeah, obviously, but these things are way cheaper and way faster. And this is what a lot of people want, myself included, for everything that I'm kind of working on. So really excited about this. I'll keep you up to date. If you enjoyed the episode today, it'd mean the world to me if you subscribed over on YouTube, if you left a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. I know it takes a second. It's annoying to do half the time, but it really would mean the world to me if you could leave me a review. A niche podcaster, this is what I love to do, and those reviews really do keep me going. So if you haven't done it already, I'd appreciate it a ton, and I hope that you all have an amazing rest of your day.